Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. It is January of 2022. This is being recorded in December of 2021, but you all know that. That's okay. So I am excited to have a new guest joining me on the podcast today. You might know her from Instagram as Siren or SirensCallCo. I'm super excited to get to talk to Siren. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? My goodness.
I'm doing very well. I'm been excited to get to talk to you. We're recording in December. Hopefully, 2022 is a good start of the year by the time this episode comes out. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Happy New Year, guys, over there in the future.
Yeah, to the future. I still can't believe that, we're recording in 2021. My brain still thinks that it's 2020, and now we're going to be in 2022.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a blur.
It absolutely, it's been the fastest 500 years and the slowest, 2 years. I don't get it.
That's a good way of putting it, though, yeah.
But we're here. We're going to talk about some fandoms that you're into, some that I have not really talked about. One in particular, and I kind of got peripheral stuff on the first one we're talking about, which is a video game franchise called Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. So what do you feel like you like? Oh, do you know much about it or?
I have very surface level. I've seen people play it.
Okay.
But not in depth. I'll catch them streaming it on Twitch or
okay.
or someone's talked about their experience with Dragon Age, and I love the company that does Dragon Age. I'm very into that whole storytelling thing. However, I tried playing Dragon Age 2. I downloaded the demo when it came out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't control these people. What is going on? I don't know what's going on. So
The mechanics.
I was like, I know this is not the game for me.
Mm-hmm.
I will watch people play it versus me having to do it. But with the amount, obviously, of games that are out there and the hours that people have to put into it, it is something where I'm more of a I'll read up about it. But how did you get into Dragon Age?
Oh
Were you Dragon Age 1 on board, or did you come in later?
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know Dragon Age existed, actually. One of my best friends, Kristen, actually just you might really like this game. And I was like, oh, okay. And this was back in maybe 2013, 2014 when I first started playing it. So years after it, came out. And she was just like, yeah, you might like it. You like playing Skyrim, you like playing all these RPGs, you might actually like this. And I would go to her to reference for quests and how do you do this and how do you do that and how do you the mechanics is, because she was my walking encyclopedia. So she introduced me to Dragon Age, and she was very adamant. She was like, you have to start at Origins. You cannot start anywhere else. Don't you dare. I was like, okay, I'll listen. I'm glad I did, though. I'm glad I did listen to her at that time with the order of things coming out. Because with the recent, with Inquisition on the horizon back then, she was like, don't do it.
What is it because one came out first,
Yeah.
1 and 2, and then they backtracked.
It was one. I don't even actually remember the order particularly, but I know it was one. There was Awakening, which kind of was this interlude, and then they had 2, and it kind of all mishmash because 2 was also in the middle of 1 as far as the story goes, and it helped lead to the third game, Inquisition. So I really enjoy the fact that it kind of did that. Because it was little Easter eggs within itself. It's if you actually played in order, just oh my goodness, that references this. And oh, that's a little hidden Easter egg if you think about, oh my goodness, the story. And then when you got to Inquisition, you're just hey, all those characters, I remember you.
I love when games or shows or movies layer that if you've been watching and you've been paying attention, you're seeing like these little story threads in the background, like
Yes.
connecting, and these characters, like, oh, I saw that character, and now they've popped up again. I absolutely love that.
Oh gosh, I love that too. I was just kind of like, I was playing Dragon Age 2 today just to like have a good time and play around with it. And I was just like, oh yeah, they kind of threaded in very subtly like how the last name is Amel. And if you play one of the main characters in the first game, their last name is Amel. And it's like this family connection. You're just like, oh, wait a minute. And you don't realize it because it's such a small detail because it's all interwoven.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, love that.
Which game do you have a favorite?
Oh, I do. I am biased towards Dragon Age 2. I'm so sorry. So sorry to everyone out there, even the producers and directors and writers of the show of that second one, because they all turn around on Twitter.com to be like, we just threw that one together. I don't know why you guys like it. And we're all sitting here, people who enjoy Dragon Age 2, being like, yeah, no, we love it. Are you kidding me? It's great. Repeated like dungeons because it's Varric's storytelling, and the directors and writers are just like, we just got lazy. I don't know what you mean about that, but yeah, sure, Varric's storytelling, yeah, whoo, yeah.
I think that, because I know about the games but never played them, but I know that, or I had heard like with Dragon Age 2, because it was the first one was so successful, they were like, we gotta turn it out real quick. And it's like, okay, they, like you said, they repeat a lot of some of the same stuff in the game, as
Yeah.
like, okay, like I feel bad for them having to do that when, I'm sure they have like the original stories they want to do and get into like new things. And it's like, okay, management says, no, we need it now. We want the money.
Send it now. And everyone's like, no, we can't.
We can't,
but
don't make us.
Don't make us. But it ended up working out amazingly because we, as the fans, were just like, oh, no, this is great. We actually adore this because, it covers, like, it ends up covering all the loopholes within itself, even though it was rushed, quote unquote.
Now, what with Dragon Age, like, what is the appeal for you? Because I know you mentioned Skyrim,
Right.
So, but what is Dragon Age, like, what appeals to you about the Dragon Age franchise?
Oh my goodness. My favorite thing about the Dragon Age franchise is the stories that are being told through all the perspectives of the different characters. Because it's not you controlling just your character, but the relationship that you have with others. And that's something that's very interesting because it's a skill that you can also carry to real life. Is being able to be like, oh, they're their own individual person. You have to be able to understand what their mindset is.
It is like, that's one of the appealing things for those style of games, is especially like as me as a backseater watching people play the games like on Twitch. I'm like, oh, what choices are you going to make? What conversations are you going to have? How are you going to do that? Like, and each person's gameplay is totally different and unto them, essentially.
Definitely. I 100% agree. It's so funny because in the first Dragon Age, I was able to sit there and go through the storyline and roleplay the way that I envisioned my character being able to roleplay with these characters. And ironically, with Dragon Age 2, and my friend warned me about this, how I kind of actually got lost in the role-playing process, and not in a good way, actually. Because I felt like, oh my goodness, I have to pay attention to everyone's, like, opinions, different things. Fenris, oh my goodness, and Anders, oh my goodness, you can't keep them in the same part. You can't keep them together half the time. So it was just like, whoa, it was this balancing act that became very difficult. But then I just kind of learned to just go and enjoy the ride for it.
With Dragon Age, obviously there's a ton of characters, tons of characters, and you, in your email to me, you said that you love Isabella.
Oh yes.
Now I don't know who Isabella is, so I'd love to know who this, because the out of the whole email, like, that is the only character you mentioned for anything, and I was like, well, obviously this character means a lot.
Oh goodness, no, this character means absolutely the world to me. Dragon Age 2 came out at a time where I was going through a rough patch in my undergraduate life, and in my social life, and in her personal life. So Dragon Age 2 meant the world to me and what the characters went through, but especially what Isabella stands for. And yeah, no, I only said Isabella in my email. But I really just drew upon her character. My favorite thing about her, and I actually further explored her character within the comics that came out afterwards. From after playing the games, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about her character is just her whole, what is in a name, and making yourself and calling yourself, what you are and what you want to be and what you aspire to be. So she might be this amazing woman that they can control and just, can walk in the room and be like, yeah, I'm here, but also saunter over to the bar and grab a drink first. But she still carries this, like, little burden, little backstory behind her. It's oh gosh, love it.
I definitely have got to take a look more like the Dragon Age franchise. I need to find somebody that's like streaming it constantly, so that way I can pop in and learn more, because I've heard so many good things about it. But then I think that it's been a while since the games have come out, so like not a lot of people are playing them at this point. And it makes me sad, because I wanna know more. They should remaster it.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
they did Mass Effect remaster, right? So they can do Dragon Age.
Well, yeah, if anything, just to like tweak the code a little bit, because I was actually playing today, and unfortunately, with the game growing every year, with its age, ironically, the one thing that I noticed that I had to go in to get a mod for was the cursor. The mouse was so tiny; it was just like infinitesimally small as you expand upon like your pixels, and like you're going from like 1080p to 4K. Your cursor is gone. So, I think Nexus mods out there for having that mod to increase the cursor size, because oof, you lost it.
Who would have thought that a curse like that, like you'd have to find a mod for something like that? Like out of all the stuff that you would mod a game for, like the cursor size.
I mean, first of all, kudos, because accessibility for people who might need it. But also, who knew, because I opened up the game and I was like, I'm gonna play it. And I was like, where's my cursor? Had to lower like the the speed of like my mouse and the sensitivity to try and find it, slowly zooming across the screen. Like, there it is. Oh, in the corner. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is. I've had that issue before. I had it today with one of my son's games. I was like, I can't find the cursor. Why can't the cursor? And then it's like, it's locked to the screen, because I have two monitors. So it's like,
Okay.
I can't get it to go to the second monitor. And of course, I feel, as I grew up with computers, I'm like, okay, like I'm up with technology. My son's like, yeah, you hit the escape key so it can leave. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, I
Thank,
guess.
thanks for that.
Thanks, I guess.
Now, is there going to be like another Dragon Age? Is this is the franchise finished, or is there going to be more? Like,
Oh, that's the biggest question. Oh, I wish I could tell you the answer to that. We've all been in the air about that in the fandom. We're all very hopeful for the next installment of Dragon Age. We know it's there. Someone somewhere is working on it in BioWare and within EA. They're doing something, because we've seen trailers. We've gotten a trailer, I believe, last year. I think we got a trailer. And we all got hyped seeing art and seeing just 3D models. Gosh,
mhm.
there was one 3D model where it was just like a giant spider, but instead of having like generic spider like legs, at the end of the spider legs, it just would be hands.
Ew,
And like it went over everyone's heads until further, like on Twitter, we're just like, wait a minute, why does it have hands? But we're all
oh my
waiting
god.
patiently, very patiently.
Okay, I can understand that. I mean, I'm waiting for a video game that who knows if it's even going to eventually come. But they left it on a cliffhanger. Did Dragon Age end on a cliffhanger? Because
No, I mean, yes and no. And with the third installment of Inquisition, and with the DLC that helped to round Inquisition Trespasser, it helped to solidify the story, but also it helped to open up the potential of a new story. So it gave closure to the set of Inquisition and the timeline of Inquisition, and who the characters were. But it also gave a little opening saying we could continue, kind of thing.
okay, Now, you mentioned something before we wrap up with Dragon Age. You mentioned something before we started recording about a Dragon Age day that, which by the time people are listening to this episode, I believe it will have passed. But what is Dragon Age Day?
Oh my goodness, thank you. So, Dragon Age Day is an unofficial Dragon Age celebration fan event, and it is a charity event for the week, to different charities. For this year, it's for able gamers, and they have a whole Twitter for unofficial Dragon Age Day, but it is on December 4th, because it's like D4, but the 4 can turn into an A, so it's like a little play on its own words and numbers to create this kind of unofficial day, but it really turns into an unofficial like week. And we all celebrate by either participating in Zoom calls to watch the voice actors, creators, writers, music composers just talk about the show, as well as like charity streams that happen on Twitch. I would have loved to have volunteered this year, but unfortunately I'm finishing up graduate school, so I gotta finish my paperwork first, and my homework comes first. But hopefully in the future I can participate and volunteer to assist them.
Absolutely. Real life always comes first. And it always boggles my mind because, I stopped at the 4 years. I was like, okay, it's 4 years. I'm done. I can't do anymore. But then hearing about like people's graduate school experiences, it's like, yeah, you are putting in the work to get your stuff done.
Yeah, I mean it's hit and miss. Sometimes like it's okay to like not go on to graduate school because you have to find what you want to do. It took me a year to find out what I wanted to do, and I'm sure it can take many for others. So I'm lucky and grateful to be able to say I really want to do this and then pursue it.
Absolutely. Like that's one of my one of my friends knew what he wanted to do since he was in middle school, and it's like and he did it. Like he
Middle
did
school.
like, and it's like he knew what he wanted to do. He went to school for it. He got the jobs to do it. He stopped doing it after like 10 or 15 years, but he did it. And I was like, dang, like to have that like dedication and drive towards what you want to do, it always like it amazes me.
Oh man, middle school, that amazes me too.
Now on top of Dragon Age, we have something, and I'm very unfamiliar with this. Like I see it in cosplay, especially obviously like on Instagram or Twitter. I see it on cosplay. I've heard of the game, but I'm not familiar with the subsection out of the game. But we're talking about KDA from League of Legends.
Yeah. So KDA, yes. So League of Legends is the video game by Riot Games, but KDA is like this sub-universe of Riot Games is League of Legends. So it's a different universe where it's a band of 4 players or characters, I should say, Ari, Akali, Kaisa, and Evelyn, and they are a girl group which banded together to create music or K-pop.
Now, are the characters in KDA like characters you play in League of Legends, or is this a entirely different thing that has been created?
The characters are in League of Legends, yeah. So you can actually play the characters within the game, and they've actually included the skin line, so the aesthetic, the skins, the chromas, into the game, so you can play as like the dressed up version of them.
Okay. Now, what like? Because I'm trying to wrap my head around like figuring out like was KDA created like they spun it out of League of Legends to get into like music?
Yeah,
or,
kind of.
like...
Yeah. As far as what I know of the history, it's Riot Games has a whole separate thing on Riot Games music. Am I saying it backwards? Who knows? But they actually spun this own thing because it was created first back in 2018 to bring together the group. The group came out in 2018, I should say. But they've had, music prior to that to celebrate Worlds, which is their finales of competition and things like that. But bringing together a group of champions of characters you play to be their own pop group was something that was introduced in 2018 with their first song, Pop Stars.
Now, do you play League of Legends, or were you just drawn to like the music and the characters for KDA?
Well, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Obviously, when it first came out with Pop Stars, with KDA with Pop Stars, I was like, oh my god, this is a banger. Hell yeah. And so I made a little bet with my friend that, listen, if KDA really takes off, because they're taking off, listen, if they take off and they make 2 more albums, then I will give League of Legends a try. Fast forward, I am now a year into playing League of Legends. So a year ago, their 2 other albums came out, which was Baddest and More. I like to argue that they're 2 albums separately because they introduced 4 songs in their More album as a separate solos from all the girls, and also a single by itself, which became its own kind of album prior to this. So it kind of bled into each other, and now I play and also enjoy the music.
Okay. Now, like this is uncharted territory for me. So again, to people that are listening, like I'm just trying to figure out things, and hopefully you get to listen and learn about KDA. So for you, what was the draw to KDA? Was it the music? Was it the characters in their costumes, their outfits that they have? Like, what drew you to them?
What drew me to the characters? A little bit of everything, honestly. It's an all-female group, and I was drawn to the aesthetic of them, and I didn't even know who the characters were, but I was like, oh man, that's so cool. This person's so cool. They have all this stuff, the aesthetic, the purple hair, the blonde hair, the moves, music. I love it all. It was a little mishmash of everything that kind of drew me in.
And I assume you have a favorite of the 4.
Yes, I do. I absolutely adore Evelyn within the KDA, and she's become the champion that I most play on League. In fact, when I started playing League, that's all I ever played. I have way too many points into only Evelyn. My friend even went as so far as to make a whole meme of myself, the Daniel Radcliffe meme, where he's just walking around in his jammies holding 2 like guns, and he's just like really feral holding them up, but it's just like me, and it's like Evelyn's like little icon and the crow and like the corner and all the little jungle monsters because she's a jungle champion. And then the side's just like, I only play jungle, Evelyn forever. And I'm just like, yeah, that was me.
Why Evelyn out of the 4? Because I have the background with like the boy bands, and everyone has their own boy band person, or like with the K-pop groups, everyone's got like their favorite. But what is it about Evelyn that you are like just so drawn to her?
I don't even know where to begin with that. Man, Evelyn. I mean, my first response as a joke would be like, Evelyn, have you seen her? But then I would be like, oh man, I really enjoy her aesthetic and her allure and her just like confidence and like ability just to be able to like step on people in a metaphorical and physical way. It's a confidence. It's a trait, definitely. One that I wish I have. One that many people think I have. So definitely a huge part of it. It's just like, oh my goodness. Inspiration.
There have been a number of Evelyn cosplayers, including yourself, where it's like you look at the pictures, right? And it's like there's that strength and that confidence that you talk about, and there's like a certain something where it's like, love the look, but kind of scared.
Yeah, it's great. I like that appeal.
And that was, in fact, when we were talking before we started, I was looking back on the Instagram to figure out like where I had stumbled across you, and I had mentioned that somebody had shared one of your reels of you as Evelyn. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Scary, but cool.
Yeah, I've definitely built into cosplaying her and built into that persona and characterization. I've learned to like kind of be able to dance around and figure out how to create a character for her for TikTok, but
Hmm.
it's all about like seeing what memes are out there and what's the new joke, what's the new trend on TikTok to be like, oh, that'd be a good joke if I kind of change the words a little bit.
Now, with KDA and with League of Legends, do you think that you'd be playing League of Legends if it wasn't for KDA?
Do I think? Oh my goodness. I probably, if I hadn't made that bet with my friend, I probably would not be playing like League. Actually, he even said to me, he's like, "I'm surprised you stuck around to play longer than a week. What the heck?" I'm just like, wow, no, man, Evelyn, woof. To which he was just like, I mean, yeah, go off. I can help you. And like, he offered me a lot of help, and so did many friends who are in the League community who play League. They're just like, oh man, I want to help you. It's so good to see you. I'm just like, yeah.
For the people that don't know who KDA is, if they haven't heard KDA, if they're like me, just seeing pictures on Instagram or like seeing the TikToks and stuff, like I I assume it's K-pop, because you'd mentioned K-pop before. So is it K-pop music or something similar but different?
Similar, I would say. It's like it's considered K-pop actually. According to Spotify, it's considered K-pop, which has a lot of K-pop fans of real people, not just pixel people, but real people, fans of those types. They get up in the ears about it. There actually was a huge debate on Twitter, because KDA as a music group, these pixel characters did so well and they outnumbered other K-pop groups, and a lot of K-pop groups fans were just like, no, that doesn't matter, they don't count. So it was a big debate. So according to Spotify, they're K-pop, but they do a little bit of mix of pop as well.
Okay. And for people that have not listened to them, they like, you can go find them wherever. Like their music, like you said, Spotify, I'm sure on YouTube and other places to hear them and check them out. That's really cool. It's something I don't think I've ever really seen before, of spinning like characters out of a video game to do like a whole separate genre of thing, essentially, and be like, we're going to take these characters that you use to fight and we're going to make them pop stars and make music.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I haven't like experienced either in all my times just playing video games. So it was definitely just like, oh my goodness. It was a great blend of the two. Good marketing. Good job, Riot.
That'd be like taking like some of the male Dragon Age characters out and like making a boy band with them.
Oh my god.
There, or like, a country folk band or something, and you could spin it so many different ways. Like now I just have like Final Fantasy characters in my head of like, okay, who would, besides Final Fantasy like 10 too, because they have that music group going on, but
right,
other Final Fantasy characters like Tifa or Aerith, and who would join them?
Right, yeah, definitely. It becomes like a, oh my goodness, what would their voices sound like too? And you can stumble upon a rabbit hole of YouTube videos talking about like, there actually is a couple of YouTube rabbit hole videos, even within the KDA, about like, oh, with this song, what would their lines be?
That is really interesting. I think I'm gonna have to look up more about KDA, because it's something, again, so many people I see on Instagram cosplay, and it's something that I know it came from League of Legends, but like I didn't even know that they were champions in League of Legends. I was like, oh, it just came from that same area, the same group of people. It's so cool.
It really is. I actually genuinely enjoy it. Like seeing people in real life cosplay as well. I recently helped out, I should say recently, that was back in August. Oh, time, hello? Back in August, I helped out at a convention in North Carolina called Queen City Anime Con, and I helped out with their KDA like cosplay performance, and I helped out seeing other cosplayers and their dancers take part in the music to put on a show at the convention. And it's just great interacting with others about like how good the music is, and what the music means to them, and how the music just empowers them, whether it's just through dance or through song.
That's really awesome. I love when fandoms like bring people together like that, especially when, again, and I keep saying it, so my apologies to people
No,
that are
yeah.
listening, but it's like taking like a video game fandom, but then having like music and dancing and costumes, like it kind of just encompasses so much that people can be like into one thing but not the other, or both things, and it just has so many like little connectivity bridges.
It really does. And if I think back upon like my younger years and watching videos on YouTube of like cosplay competitions and things like that, you would see people would be singing to a Disney song, but they would be in like a Full Metal Alchemist cosplay. And like you would see these like fan interpretations of singing songs. So it's amazing to actually have that and have
Hmm.
characters who actually do have a place in their own world.
Exactly, and that just lends itself to even have even more things could spin out of what KDA has done or what League of Legends wants to do, and where they could take things in the future. And it just opens up so many doors that were previously just be like, oh yeah, whatever, we're not gonna just vent. Like it's just like a bold thing for them to been like, you know what, this is what we're doing. Let's
Yeah.
let's try it out.
Definitely. And oh goodness, I'm ever thankful for it. I've grown as a content creator online and I found a space within the KDA fandom, people who enjoy the KDA as well as the game itself too.
Hmm.
I found my place within a community, a little niche community on Twitter, and I thoroughly enjoy just being surrounded by people who enjoy and just have a good time.
Exactly. And that's all that people need. A good time, a good fun time of music and dancing and gaming
Yeah,
all together.
yeah, a little safe place.
One of the fandoms, because we've talked Dragon Age and we talked League of Legends and KDA, but now we're getting into like I almost want to say like a classic fandom, like one of the pillars of the fandom community, and we're gonna talk Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
And I preface this, and if people interact with me on Twitter on the occasions that I interact with people, I don't talk about Star Wars like to the main people. I talk Star Wars one on one, because sometimes talking to like the main Star Wars fandom, it gets a little dicey.
Okay.
Now, now for you, like, what was your entry into the Star Wars fandom? Because
Oh, I would love to talk about this.
yes, because everyone is so different. I get to
Yes.
get to love and learn.
Yes, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going from Dragon Age and League of Legends to Star Wars. Hard right turn, folks. Buckle up. It was quarantine 2020. It was nice and warm outside, but I decided to spend 100 days with my friend and binge watch Star Wars chronologically because it was quarantine. And that's how it got started.
Okay. Uh, if we had video, my mouth would have dropped. Okay. I don't think. I think you may be the person currently that I've talked to that has gotten into Star Wars at such a recent time frame. Like that is something that I've not heard of before. What was the draw? Obviously, with quarantine, like everyone went ridiculous and learned things like they had sourdough
Yeah, the
starters
sourdough bread,
and
yeah.
learning to like craft something and figuring out like, hey, like let's do DIY projects, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, but start like why Star Wars?
Why?
Because I kind of need I need more. Like, what was the pick of Star Wars?
Oh my goodness. Now, for forewarning, of course, I understand the plot of Star Wars. I understood, like, the characters and everything. I never understood the story. So
Right.
I was sitting there and mindful, even throughout the quarantine and COVID-19 of 2020, I was still a graduate student. I still had summer classes. I was still operating full time as if there was no quarantine, there was no COVID. But either regardless, my friend and I started a 100-day journey because we logged it actually on Twitter. Um, and it all started just because we sat there in a Discord call one day, and I kid you not, I was just like, what if we just watched Star Wars? And that's really about it. A lot of my ideas, and I can attest to this, and my friend can attest to this too, will come out of the blue of just sitting in silence, radio silence for 5 seconds before I peek up and I go, what if we just did this? Again, when I went back to August, floating back to North Carolina, even prior to that, this is the same friend. I said, what if we just went to North Carolina early? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what if we just went there and we went to Dollywood? And he's just like, where did this come from? I'm just like, well, Dollywood's like 3 hours away. And he's just like, did you just do the research? I was like, I mean, Dollywood sounds really nice. So a lot of my ideas are just really out of the blue. So there's really just no rhyme or reason other than just, what if we just did it?
All right, I need to ask. Probably, if Star Wars fans are listening, they're going to understand my next question of what was the order that you watched everything.
All right, I'll pull up the list. Give me one moment. So, I'll pull up the list. We actually created our own Discord section for Star Wars so we could log, when we finished what, as you should. I don't know, because it was quarantine. I don't know. We wanted to test ourselves to see how many days we finish it, and again, we were rounding out to a nice 100 we wanted. So, yes, we did episode 1, episode 2, then Clone Wars animated series, episode 3, Solo, Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One, episode 4, 5, then 6, Forces of Destiny, Mandalorian, Resistance, and then 79. And then, of course, more recently, Bad Batch kind of lit its way afterwards. But that was after the 100 mark.
Yeah, that is after the 100. I'm right there with you on that one. As a Star Wars fan, I would like to know, like, how was it? Because obviously, certain sections of the fandom are, you got to watch like 4, 5, 6 first, and then go back to like 1, 2, 3. What was with you watching it in that order? And kudos to you for doing that. Like, but how was your experience with it?
My goodness. Well, we definitely did debate whether or not we were going to do 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. We definitely did that little debate and talk, but we kind of settled like, no, we should do it chronologically so that we can see the events unfold and see how each kind of play by play happens. This way we're not feeling confused in our own opinion.
Right.
And my goodness, it was quite the journey. It's, again, I understood Star Wars as a general plot, but going into it is a whole different thing, and
it is.
Oh my goodness. Coming out of it at the end of the 100 days, I've come to see that so many people, and hot take, so many people love this series, and they see it with joy and stuff like that. Ironically, I don't see it with joy, and it's like, it's such a sad story. It's such a solemn, sad story. I can see like bits and pieces of the happiness that it like provides, and the characters that are comforting, and the characters that you latch onto. Like, it took me, after watching Rebels, I went back in and I was like, oh, I'm attached to Harrison Dula. Move, Ahsoka Tano. But it was still a sad story, and it is solemn, like yearning of like the heart, just like, oh, I wish for them just to be happy.
That is a wonderful take on Star Wars, because for people that maybe when it's just 4, 5, and 6, I mean, it's a self-contained story and you end with happiness, like, and you're like, okay, yay, they won, like Vader redeemed himself, hurrah hurrah, and then you start getting like the layers and the extra tidbits, and that's when it's like, oh. Like, and for me, like, especially because I haven't watched Rebels, full admit on that, and I need to, but I know with Clone Wars, like, it started off as like, okay, cool, Clone Wars, neat, I'm into it, and then it's like, oh,
yeah,
like,
it got dark. Clone Wars was like when like we genuinely cried.
Yeah, it is. Like, Clone Wars is one of those series where I tell people, I'm like, okay, you got to get like through like that first season.
Yeah, definitely.
and then it really starts getting good. And I remember like the episode in particular where when I started coming around, which is when like Ahsoka's trapped and there's like poison gas that's going in as like underground or in like some
Yes, I
secret
remember
base or
that.
something. Like that was the episode that was finally like pushed me over and was like, okay, like I'm all in. I'm in it for like with Ahsoka. I love her character. I love her development. I love what they did with her with that last season.
Yes.
Like it was such a wonderful thing that I think after the disappointment for like those of us that like watched the prequels in the movie theater and were like, oh, this isn't what we really wanted. Like this animated show provided what we had been like longing for.
Yes. Like as if it was an insurance company. You're covered. Uh it definitely covered the bases where it needed to, and it definitely broke a lot of hearts. I remember like the one where we saw with not with the Clone Trooper 99.
Hmm.
That episode, we cried. We had to take a break afterwards. We cried.
Yeah, that there's some episodes of Bad Batch where I was like seriously like getting caught up with myself and was like I need to like I'd watch them in the morning, but then I'd be like maybe I shouldn't have watched it in the morning. Maybe I should have waited. Let me watch it again to hurt myself because there's just some episodes where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this is getting to me." Or even like
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, there'd be episodes I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
come on."
There's this joy of watching it chronologically because you see everything unfold and like going, and because now we have Bad Batch and it's, it takes place, a little bit after Clone Wars, during Clone Wars, a little bit towards the beginning, that blend, because it's afterwards and you know the story, it's like, oh boy. Oh boy. And that's how I felt of like going through it chronologically. It's just like, oh boy, and this happened before. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
And it clenches your heart.
It does. Curiously, and as a person that has seen most of, but not all of what you have watched, what was your favorite? Like, can you tell me like which movie or show like that you're like, you know what, out of everything that you watch, like this is what I love the most.
Oh man, woof. That's a big question. I can't tell you. Like, at first, I was not into Star Wars Rebels because I was like, ugh, we're going again. I want to go to the movies. Give me Solo. Because we went from Solo to Rebels and then went back and then went to Rogue One. So it was like
Right.
this break from live action to animated, and I was like, oh, no, I give me the live action. Um, but Rebels is the one show that I can go back and just watch over and over and over and over again with like and content.
That is that, and like that's the one show of Star Wars for me because I didn't watch Resistance either. I again admit
Don't.
that.
Sorry, pump the brakes, pump the brakes, because my friend and I have a thing. I can tell you for sure, we did not like Resistance.
I've heard that. I've heard other Star Wars fans talk about how they also did not like Resistance.
We sat like I would actually watch like the old Cartoon Network animated versions of Clone Wars that they had before they picked it up into like animated models, the
Right.
drawn animated. So I would actually watch that on the side and like tune out Resistance.
Now I will say like especially with Rebels because I have started Rebels on multiple occasions and I get to a certain point in the first season and I'm like I don't know like there's just something where I'm like I don't know, I can't go on.
No, yeah, trust me, that was definitely for us too. Because again, both of us, we didn't really know like the plots of the individual things.
Hmm.
So, despite knowing the overall plots, my friend and I did not know the individual plots of these, stories and how they would interplay with each other. So at first, when we watched Rebels, we were just like, "Oh God, this again? This is like a Mary Sue character over here, and what is that writing over there?" And like we'd make these kind of comments. But then as we actually got into like season 2 and season 3, we're just like, "Oh my God, oh no, it's picking up."
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about like like the seasons after the first season, where it's like I need to dedicate my time to get through it, to get to
Yeah.
like the good stuff, because then with Bad Batch they have stuff incorporating some of Rebels in there, like pre
Yeah.
Rebels, and
Christ.
then with the Ahsoka series that's coming out, they've started casting Rebel characters, and it's like okay. I need to get on board before that series comes out.
Yeah. Do take your time, because I mean, all up to you, definitely. But my goodness, I do. I will back the 100. I'll be the 101 backer to tell you that yes, the season one gets really like just like it has like a chokehold on you where you want to just like I can't do this. But then season 2 and 3 are just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is doable.
I got two questions for Star Wars left. The first one is, who is your favorite character?
Harrison Dula, of course.
Why her?
So soft. I absolutely adore Harrison Dula. A lot of the characters, I've actually had this conversation with a friend recently. You know, how do you pick out your characters that you are attracted to? Like, what makes you drawn to certain characters? They asked me. And that's a really good question, actually. To ask anyone, why are you drawn to a character? And I say that I'm drawn to a character because it's a character that I need to take a lesson from, or I need to listen to, or I need to lean on. And with Hera, it's understanding laws and understanding being a leadership, having that leadership position, but also understanding hope and faith.
That is a very solid answer. Normally I pick up like the background characters. I'm always like the background character person. It's like, who do you like? Oh, that person in the background over there that has like one line and you see them.
Hell
But
yeah.
I like the cast, the overall cast of Rebels that I know of. Like, because again, you learn Star Wars through osmosis at times, and you're like, oh yeah, I know who those characters are. You don't really know them, but I like
Yeah.
Hera, and I like that the little nod in Rogue One when it's like, oh yeah, I hear her name, and it's like, okay, they confirm that yes, that was indeed the character from Rebels, and it's like, okay, cool. I like stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm I'm hopefully we'll see more of Hera.
I hope so too. We have a little like I know that when we watch like when I watch YouTube videos about like the movies and how they reference her vaguely or even just her ship the Ghost.
Hmm.
It's always just like where would she be in this timeline? You know, how old would she be and who would be flying that ship and who would be with her or would she not be there? Would it be someone else? And I like reading about those things and those theories.
Yeah, those are always like those are always like the nice things where it's like, oh, I hope that she's living her best life. I hope that she's
Yeah,
okay.
honestly, yeah. I like, yeah. As one of the only characters I feel like really survived the series. I really hope you're okay.
Now, having watched Star Wars in 100 days, all the Star Wars media out there, what would you like to see from Star Wars next? Because I know, we've got like the Ahsoka show, the Kenobi show, the Boba Fett show, the Mandalorian season 3. But what would you like to see come out of the Star Wars universe as like the next like movie or TV series?
Oh, wow. That's quite a nice question. I don't think I have any expectation for what I would like to see per se is what I think, should fit a storyline. Because being able to tell Ahsoka's story is really important. There's a huge gap at the end of Rebels that, leads to questions about what the heck was Ahsoka doing?
Hmm.
And where is she going? And who, what, when, where, why, how? So further developing characters is such a good idea. So I don't really have, many expectations because I just want to be able to be surprised. I say.
Right.
With the Kenobi show, I think it would be definitely interesting because we have all these allusions to like, allusions to like what happened in Clone Wars with Duchess Satine and everyone, what he did as he was young with Qui. So it'd be definitely interesting to see more of his character. So it's like, yeah, I'd like to see what happens. I have no expectations, but I'd love to be surprised.
That's a wonderful thing to go into it, because I know with like the series that are coming out, like I always try to like stay away from spoilers. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
see, like
Mm-hmm.
even when they started showing Kenobi stuff, I was like, nope. I need to just I want to wait to like experience it, because when I watched The Mandalorian, I was just like blown away by what they did with the characters, and like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't interested in The Mandalorian to begin with. I was like, yeah, I didn't like Boba Fett as a character. I thought he was overrated. I was like, okay, whatever. But then you get to the show and it's like, oh, like this is like spaghetti western style, like cinematography, and the
Yeah,
characters,
definitely.
like loved it all. Like I was in for it.
Definitely. We actually didn't start Mandalorian until like it was nearing the end of its season, nearing the end of its runtime, where it's going to finish off and everything. We actually timed ourselves. We actually ended up finishing Mandalorian on the day that its last episode. So we first went into Mandalorian not knowing much other than knowing it was a show.
Hmm.
And he wore armor very similar to Boba Fett, and he was a Mando essentially
Yeah.
by appearance. But we didn't know much otherwise because we stayed away from spoilers, which was like a good idea. And then when we got into it, just like, oh wow, yeehaw, hello,
Yep. Yep.
big yeehaw.
Oh my goodness. Now, so we covered fandoms, but I have to say again, found you on Instagram. You do a lot of stuff on Instagram, cosplaying. So how did you decide, how, like, what was your origin story? Why are you what how did you become a cosplayer?
Oh my goodness. I got into cosplay as a wee child in high school. And then it just kind of evolved from there, from different like shows of anime and then into TV shows like Doctor Who. And then I got into Dragon Age, and with Dragon Age, my Isabella multiplayer outfit from Inquisition was the first one that I had. Like I made everything with a sewing machine and the sheer will and the sweat of my back. Uh, um, but it slowly kind of evolved character by character, and then it became from Isabella to little bits of other characters, other just little side things. Going back to River Song, I bounced back and forth, and then I hit Evelyn.
And then you hit
And
Evelyn.
then I hit Evelyn. But yeah, it was just a little development because I was in theater. I grew up in theater for half of my life, basically. Um, I've been in theater for so long. It's always been a part of me. So being able to participate with others and dressing up as a character and acting as a character has always been very appealing to me.
What is it about like the characters that you do? Are you looking more at representing the character? Are you like, hey, that's a cool outfit, let me rock that? Is it a mixture of both? Like where do you get the decision on who you're going to cosplay?
Oh my goodness. It definitely is a mixture of both. That's a tricky one to answer with a mixture because oftentimes designers don't create the most comfortable outfits for characters, even in live action or pixel or otherwise.
Hmm.
Which is so unfortunate, but we find our ways within the cosplay community. I definitely pick out characters, again, like I said, it's characters that I lean on or I lean into because I see a reflection of myself somewhere within that character that I'd love to explore and develop, or characters that I learn a lesson from.
Okay.
So, yeah, with Isabella, it's with the whole what's within a name, and I really just, like, it just, like, stuck at the hip. Can't, inseparable. My god, I cosplayed her for so many years. And then with Evelyn, it's the charisma and it's the ability to like have that confidence that just kind of like, oh, I could learn something about that within myself.
As a cosplayer, like what is your favorite thing to do with cosplay? Like is it like the photos? Is it the getting into character? I know that you had mentioned when you sent in your information that you like to do like micro acting and like with the with the characters like on TikTok or like on the reels and stuff like. But what's your favorite thing to do with cosplay?
My favorite thing is definitely just being able to get into the character and even like just become the character in a way, and providing that joy, that character experience, that character interaction that the viewer or real life people can experience. It makes people's days. When I was at Dragon Con a couple, I want to say 2-3 years ago, I was dressed as Isabella, and I was walking around and I had my red Solo cup. And I was walking out of the vendor's hall, and these two people came up to me. They're just like, "Oh my goodness, are you cosplaying Isabella?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, sweet thing. Just like, take a picture with me." And they're like, "Yeah." And I still have my red Solo cup with me, and so I took a photo with them. I posed for them, and then as they walked away, they turned around and they turned back around towards me. They're just like, "Oh my God, wait, are you? Do you have something in your cup?" I was like, "Of course." They're just like, "You know what?" And they were like, "You're amazing." And it was that little tidbit of just like, oh my God, is this a character or is this a person? So that character experience has always been something that I adore providing to people, entertainment. I think it's really fun. And I give kudos to people who are able to do photography of characters and pose and be able to replicate images and things like that. But I love acting and being able to entertain people through that medium.
I know that and I've talked with some people in the cosplay community that do like the TikToks and it's like a whole new almost like a new frontier for cosplayers in general of just getting their character out there and being able to be the character beyond just like photo shoots or like skits that you might see at or at conventions. What do you find in with TikTok, what do you like to do when you're in cosplay with TikTok?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling around the trends, or I'm just on my For You page or whatever page I might be on, I'm paying attention also to like the sounds or even just like what's a trend, what's happening, oh, and then I sit there and I think, I get this little idea, this light bulb that goes up and says, "Oh my goodness, this would be so funny if like Evelyn did this," kind of thing. And then I take that and then I actually have like a little like checklist on a like a little notepad where I write down my ideas and like the audio so I don't forget which audio it was from.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll actually get into cosplay and I'll do it and I'll just hash out. There was actually one point where I hashed out like 15 videos in one afternoon. Because I just saved up all the ideas, and it provided so much. Like it's like the step by step where you're just like, oh my god, this character would be so funny if they interacted like this, or it'd be funny if I created this little tiny like background story for the character through this audio.
How do you find between like the Instagram community and the TikTok community, do you find any like distinctions between the two? Because again, I'm very unfamiliar with TikTok. Like I'll see people's TikToks on Instagram, so that's pretty much how I consume it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
But how do you are the communities the same? I guess with comments and likes and stuff, or is it more interactive with TikTok where you're getting more people interacting with you that way?
It depends. It's definitely hit and miss, but for sure the communities are very two different distinctual things. On TikTok, because people can, remain as anonymous as they would like behind the forefront of their profile, they can just go ahead and comment whatever the heck they want. Oftentimes it's either you have to you moderate them to make sure that, it's safe, or it's, comments that aren't the ones you want to hear or that you want to curate within your own community. So you have to just sweep them away because it's not, appropriate for your community if you judge that way. And on Instagram, it's a whole different thing because sometimes I see my friends, more on Instagram than on TikTok because they prefer that photography. But, TikTok has slowly been being funneled into Instagram through the Reels as a place since Instagram has made the announcement of changing algorithm where they promote more videos than photos.
Yeah, that is definitely something where I've seen cosplayers that had typically shied away from like videos and like that the TikTok style stuff, and lately they've been getting into it because of, they need to make sure that they fight the algorithm and be like, okay, if people aren't seeing my pictures, they need to see something.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit like disheartened to hear that people really depend on, that, whether it's for income or otherwise, like you gotta make money, you gotta make money. I totally understand that. So it sucks that there's the whole change of algorithm, but yes, the communities are so different that it's kind of forcing hands, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But so I hope that there is some development otherwise. But overall, it's still, I think, from my perspective, I see from my perspective a positive community that I have curated so far. Again, if I see like comments that are like way out of line, I assume to be out of line, or otherwise, I kindly let the person know, saying this isn't, for here. I kindly ask that you leave this out of here, or you don't even post this at all.
Hmm.
I'll make an example and just be like, I don't accept that. Sorry, no, that's not happening. But
Right.
it's seen more or less more on TikTok than on Instagram, because that anonymous, that you can become. Because on Instagram, it's like, oh man, I can report you, I can block you, and block other accounts you might make with the same name or email.
Oh my gosh, that is on a daily basis. Now, I don't know like
Yeah.
how bigger accounts handle it. Like I only have like 800 people following, but whenever I share stuff, it's like, oh, let me block those accounts that keep popping up that have seen my little stories, and I'm like, nope, you're inappropriate. Block you and everything that could possibly come from you.
Definitely, yeah, and I agree that there should be a block function. That blocking is a great technique to be able to be like, I want to center my community about what I want to see and what I want to experience on social media.
Exactly. Now, who's been, out of all the people you have cosplayed, who has been your favorite?
Oh, I gotta pick a favorite. Oh,
You don't have to. I mean, I just ask the questions around
I
here.
can
You
see
can.
like in the corner of my eye, I can see like Evelyn crawling from under my bed where I keep her in the box, and Isabella from the closet peering out at me. In River Song, the ghost of River Song from my shuttered closet. Yeah. Hey girls, what's up? I really. Oh man, I enjoy the cosplay that I enjoy everyone. I don't really have a favorite per se.
Hmm.
I just get into the groove of whatever cosplay I'm doing in the moment. So right now it's been almost a year's worth of Evelyn content that I've been, outputting, and I absolutely adore what I'm doing. I actually came back and did some Isabella TikToks to post for the celebration of Dragon Age Day, and that was definitely like a woof, gotta get a different mindset. Oh my goodness, it's been a hot minute. Um, but I definitely adore the characters to each and every. I can't pick a favorite.
All right, last question, which is, we're recording in December. Episode releases in January. 2022. What plans do you have for the cosplay world that you exist in? Like, I know a lot of cosplayers have lists of like, I'd like to do this person or this costume or this outfit. Do you happen to have some on there? Like, do you have any particular ones that you're like, I'd like to get this completed in 2022?
Yes, I have definitely my own goals listed in place that no doubt I will definitely see through to the end. Well, as far as cosplay and outfits go, I'd love to be able to commission in the future in 2022 for Dragon Con, Harrison Dula cosplay. I have a group that we're going to do, Star Wars Rebels group for Dragon Con 2022. So I really hope that I'm able to see the commission to fruition. Love that. That was great. I like that.
That was really good.
Oh, it rhymed. That's So I'd love to see the commission to the fruition. But I also have projects that I plan on doing in next year. Two of which are like little music videos for Evelyn. The first one for her tango line that I'd like to practice before I go on to the big fish. which would be doing a music video for her standalone song that she actually sings in KDA, Villain. So as little music videos where they'll have color palettes and they'll have like a little story behind them. I have yet to begin the storyboard phase, so to speak, to really organize my ideas out. But I do have like rough ideas of what I want to see in different scenes at different beats at different moments.
Okay. So it looks like you've got some very ambitious plans, because I know with Hera, the head tails, the Leku, are definitely something that is, as far as like crafting, creating them, definitely something that I've seen people take time with and make sure they do it well. And then with the KDA and the videos, that's again storyboarding and writing things out and getting it all done and acted and everything else like that. You got some ambitious projects ahead.
Ambitious? I don't know. I also just like to challenge myself.
And that's always a good thing, because if you're not challenging yourself, then you're not going to grow anywhere.
Definitely. With the music videos, it's definitely going to be a big challenge. I've never really edited like a whole music video. I've done TikToks. I've done like 15-second little thingamajigs. But to actually sit there and be like, I'm downloading DaVinci software and I'm playing around and oh my god, this is how you fade in and fade out, and Googling, how do I change the time? And all these little things. It's definitely going to be a challenge, and I can't wait to flex and to learn from it.
See, that's where my 12-year-old comes in. Is like, how do you do this on DaVinci? What, is that easy? Like, it took me like an hour to figure that out. It's like,
yeah,
5 seconds.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a learning curve. But then, like, once you learn it, you're like, oh wait, yeah, I could just do that.
Yeah, you'll just become a pro. Like, bam.
Practice.
Now, for people that have listened to this episode and they want to find you out there on the internet, what are the best places to do so? Where can they find you?
Oh, well, you can definitely find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Twitch, and I believe somewhere else I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But it's the same username across the board. It's SirensCallCo. I like to keep it unanimously across the board. Makes it easier to find me. I am most active on Twitter. You'll see me post like almost every half hour sometimes with like my random thought process, like, wow, I had some great ravioli. Or it's just retweeting and just, interacting with people. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, that's my problem too on Twitter. Is like, I'll post something, but then it'll be like 20 retweets of other things, and it's like, I need to share this with the world because it's so good. Let me share it. Oh, there's another thing I need to share.
Yeah.
It's like, then I have to tell myself, listen, you got to calm down and actually like put your own stuff out there again too.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance between, oh my god, I want to share this art and support this like artist and this other content creator of otherwise, and then it's like, oh, wait, I should put something out there too. Wait a minute.
Yep. Well, I will have all the links to your social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and if there's any other places that I happen to stumble across, I'll put them in there too. So that way, if you are listening and you want to check out Siren, you can click on the links in the show notes on the Facebook page or on the website, so you can go check out her work. And Siren, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to hang out and talk with me about your favorite things.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate this so much, David. This was super fun, and this is such a great environment.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.